The medieval archer had two weapons that they could choose from. One was the crossbow, but if you were English or Welsh, it was the longbow. Now the longbow has a fantastic rate of fire. Its penetrating ability on targets was extraordinary, and the distance it could shoot was even more so. Okay? These things would shoot anywhere up to about 300 yards. That all came at a price. You had to train, and you had to train arduously to get to use these things, to the point where it would change your whole physiology. Your muscle groups would change, your tendons would stretch, your bones would deform. That was the price that it took to shoot one of these. Now the rest of Europe, they took a different choice. They chose the crossbow. It's a far more complicated weapon. It was more expensive to make, more expensive to maintain. But the thing about it was easy to shoot. It took very little training to get somebody to shoot this effectively. And the distance that it could shoot would be about the same or a little bit more than a longbow. But the thing is, there is a massive difference between the two weapons. The crossbow has a very short draw length of about 5 inches. The longbow has a draw length from your wrist to your ear of about 30 odd inches. That means that it's got 30 inches to accelerate your arrow from standstill to lethal. Now a good archer will draw maybe a 150-pound draw weight, something like that, all the way back. That's 150 pounds pushing on the back of the arrow. Crossbow, on the other hand, has got a short draw length, 5 inches. Now if you draw that back, even with the same 150 pounds that you draw your longbow back with, it can only accelerate the arrow over 5 inches of distance. So the arrow is really not going to go very far at all when you shoot it from this. Nothing like it would from the longbow. Now the way around that problem, and this is where the engineering comes in, is that you really need to up the power of your bow. So crossbows, by the end of their development, were anywhere up to about 1,200 pounds in draw weight. That's half a ton to pull the string back to the trigger position. Okay? Half a ton of force pushing on the back of the bolt. Now you might think that would give an unbelievably powerful bow, and that thing would shoot through tanks if you wanted, but it doesn't. The bottom line is that arrow will end up going about the same or a little bit more than a longbow arrow. And the reason for that is you only have this 5 inches to accelerate it over. Now here's the thing. If you've got a stored energy of 1,200 pounds in your bow, that means that you've got to charge it up. And to charge up 1,200 pounds of energy takes a long time. And that is what makes shooting the big crossbows very slow. Now this bow is about 300 pounds in draw weight, so it's about the equivalent of a 70-pound longbow in terms of distance that it will shoot. It's still far too powerful to draw by hand. So in fact, actually, I've got a mechanical device called a goat's foot lever that I have to use to draw this bow. Now you'll see that compared to the big crossbows, this is actually quite quick. But compared to shooting a longbow, it's still pretty slow. Now that's the first one gone. I've now got to pick up my goat's foot, get it all aligned, make sure it's properly on the string, because otherwise it won't shoot straight. And there we go again. What you've seen from that is that it is a relatively slow weapon to shoot in comparison to the longbow, but it has one huge advantage, and that, if we go down and have a look at the target, will be very clear. Extreme accuracy. Where the longbow was the machine gun of the day, this was the sniper rifle.